This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Dear Toyota, I need a word with you about your Crown family. Suddenly, I love traffic. Rush hour is my happy place. In the comfort of my Crown, I feel on top of the world. This is strange though, right?
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
Hello, I'm your host, Les Bubka. Welcome to Anxious Black Belt, a podcast that focuses on karate, mental health, and everything in between. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, best way to do that is to listen to another episode, share with your friends, and leave us a review. All this stuff helps the mysterious algorithm to introduce our podcast to new audience. Thank you for joining me, and let's listen to the episode. First challenge of New Year, I went to Misogi, the waterfall training. The concept of Misogi is to purify yourself, get rid of the sins through cold water, and that water gonna take away your sins. And in karate circles, it was adapted to signifying a new start in training. So, new year, new training, starting something on a very hard and challenging event, and then everything else it's going to be easier. So I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning, drive to Wales, a lovely drive. Despite the weather warning, there was no problem, no traffic, and it took me 3 hours, so I was an hour ahead. So I've been sitting down looking at the Lamp Hotel, which is a over 300-year-old pub and inn, waiting for people to turn up. Briefly had a chat with a few people who arrived. Then we waited for Terry in order to get prepared for the event. Shehan Terry, give us advice to what to bring, because obviously we're gonna walk in the geese towards the waterfall. We're gonna be having training under the waterfall, so everything's gonna be soaked. So we had to take a spare clothing bin bag or a bag to put the wet clothing back in, so your backpack doesn't soak as well. Some snacks, because it's gonna be a hard training. It's gonna be very cold. You're gonna get wet, so the fear of hypothermia is real. Because the steep hill, it is very difficult to drag people up. So the only potential rescue is a helicopter and being elevated up and flew to hospital. Happy to say there was no cases like that on this one. There was a little bit disappointing, I think, because of a weather warning. That many people didn't turn up. So from 40 people who meant to attend, it was only 15 of us from all over the UK. And yeah, really lovely people, really nice. And the event went like this. So we set up going through the mountains or hills in pairs in the geese, walk through beautiful, stunning scenery, stop for a short training session, done all the basic kihon of Kyokushin with a Kyokushin spirit, so with using and kiaing and so on, done skis, maigeris, ushiromawashi geris, push-ups, 4 basic blocks, and then moved on to a next stop, which was a very interesting, and haven't heard the echo for a long time. It's very prevalent in Polish mountains, and we've been traveling the old children playing with echo. So it was nice to do again some punching with loud ki, and you had a triple echo. So as always, it's very interesting and fun experience to hear your voice shouting back from the several directions. So that was very interesting. Then we went down more towards the waterfalls, climbing down, started to snow briefly, but big flakes. So the scenery was very, very nice with that snow and the sound of the waterfall coming down the river. We went down the hill, stopped by for a minute to undress ourselves, put our stuff on the side, went down to the waterfall, walked behind the waterfall, which was a first shock because although you're going behind the waterfall, there was a big breeze hitting you and taking your breath a little away, getting you a little bit prepared for what's coming after. So we walked behind the waterfall. You have to walk very, very carefully because all is wet and slippery. Obviously, your feet are starting to be really, really cold. So walking on the sharp stones was not pleasant, but under waterfall there was a nice smooth surface, so you can walk, but you have to pay attention to not slip and fell under. Because again, I think they said that a couple months ago there was two people who lost their life because they didn't pay attention. They fell into the river and died, been drifted away. So we went through that, under, behind. We lined up on a one of the shelves with a like a small dripping waterfall, so not the proper waterfall but dripping water. And we went through 50 of each Kihon techniques, so ski, sotouke, uchiuke, kedambarai, and jodanuke, followed by more skis with kiaing. It was actually nice because we've been on the one side and Shehan Terry was on the other side. So we've been watching him what to do, and the punches were going. Then we went back in pairs. So two of us was stepping under the waterfall with the water dripping on you. I know that some of you have seen the pictures, but pictures don't do justice of how cold it was and how wet it was because it doesn't look like it's much of a spray, but you got a lot of spray getting on you. So we went in twos, and I was impressed how well managed and safety focused the event was, because when you're stepping down into that water, the stones getting much slippery. So we had to turn our belts around. You took your jumper jackets off, so bare chested. Ladies had the sports bras and stuff like that, and with your belts turned around, you've been standing there, and Suhan Terry and other senior grade was holding your belt so you don't fall over and slip into the water. And the job was to for black belts to do 50 skis, and for a lower belts it was either 20 or 30. So the 50 punches underwater, it's a long time, and your body is starting to work against you. So because of the spray and amount of cold water going towards you, you need to do proper ki with punches, because it just takes your breath away. If you don't do loud exclamations of some words, you will not catch the breath. And about 30 strikes in, your head start having a splitting headache. It's very cold and unpleasant, and very challenging. So you do 50 of those, you do ooze, and then you come out, walk up, and get dressed, get changed. For me, the worst was feet. Going back up the hill to my stuff, I left it on the very top. I was as the last one going down. I didn't feel my feet at all. So every step was a little challenge, so I don't fall over. Obviously, passing other people, walk up the top, try to change myself, and I noticed that my fingers don't work very well. So quickly dry up, put the hat on, dry head, put the hat on, put the top on, change everything, pack everything up, get some sugar in. I had a thermos with a coffee with me, so we went up the top, and they got a little tradition. There is a celebration stone, or New Year's stone they call it, when we have a drink and toast for a new year, and overcoming a first challenge of the year and doing something really, really hard. After that, we went back the same way we came in, so climbing up, going through the bogs and marshes, and a little bit of a climbing back to the pub where owner is serving drinks to people doing misogi since 1970s. The pub is over 300 years old with a live fireplace, and they don't do hot drinks. So we all had a cold drink, wrap up, get warm, have a chat. Camaraderie after painful experience is always on a high. So, pain goes away, but memories stay. So you feel that part of the group, and everybody was super happy and getting warmer that they've done the challenge. Everybody went through the cold shower, um, cold waterfall punching, and walked back. No injuries except one of the guys managed to hit his head on the rocks and had a little cut. But apart that, everything went safely, and nobody had a hypothermia. Nobody had any problems. Um, so we had a brief chat there, about an hour of jokes and chats and so on and so on. And then we went for a meal to a local town, have a lovely burger. I think after all challenges like that, and really hard training and kind of exhaustion, food always tastes better. So it was super great. And then we sat down with Shihan Terry in a car, as I promised, the podcast on the road. So we done it in a car. I'm actually surprised how well quality of the sound went, because we had the engine running because it was freezing and started to snow and so on. So always interesting. That podcast coming out on Friday this week. I can hear the Shihan Terry. I have to say that prior meeting Shihan Terry, I had some reservations. I had kind of very different opinions about him. Some people hate him, some people love him. But I decided to check it out myself, and I have to say that for me, very positive experience. Terry was very welcoming, taking care of me, and I can see how people might not like him because he's a very confident person. And as he says, he's on the autistic spectrum and have no filter. So whatever he thinks, you hear, but he takes ownership of it, and you can see that on the recent post on Facebook that lots of people froze things and then delete posts and stuff like that. So there's no ownership of what people think, and you never sure what you get with people. So I appreciate the honesty and straightforwardness of Shihan Terry, and definitely will be going back to Misogi next year. Already a few of my students want to do that challenge as well. So it's a lovely drive, lovely walk, lovely group of people. Training. I'm really not sad, but disappointed that I couldn't go on Friday. They had a training session with Shihan Terry. I unfortunately couldn't make it because of the family stuff, and but I hope next year I'll be able to go a day earlier, have a training with Terry, see how he applies roots of Kyokushin into what he does, and uses throws and takedowns and all his experience, because used to work um, on the doors. He runs the security company and does lots of other things. So always nice to train with people and see how they do their karate and so on. So if you want to listen to that episode, it's gonna be out Friday. It's gonna be out Wednesday on a Patreon, and Friday for everybody else on the regular podcast. Again, thank you for your support. I just ordered the defibrillator. It's gonna be with us soon. So I'm going to write out the post about it. It's going to be a mobile one for a sports application, so we can take it with us on events like this one and have a defibrillator if needed with us. So again, if you would like to support the channel, best way to do it is to listen to another episode really and share it on the social media, tag Anxious Black Belt in it, and then we can grow. But apart that, I'm super happy how it goes, and I really appreciate your time to listen to me rambling, and thank you for your support and thank you for your messages. It's nice to see that the podcast makes a difference and to spark the interest in guests and stuff like that. I've got quite a few guests lined up for next week, so I've got about 8 weeks of content coming next week and the following one for you guys. Again, Tuesday is gonna be me rambling like on this one, telling you what's happening and stuff like that, because we've got the open mat coming, we've got the seminar with Ian coming, and we've got our drinks for our club members coming as well. Happy to report that we've got quite a few new people coming. Advertising on Facebook works for us. We've got the one new lady who done jiu-jitsu before. She's done very well on our session. Feels like at home, signed up, and we see her next Tuesday. Few new people booked in for training as well. So I'm really hoping that dojo would be full in a minute. In a minute would be lovely, but in the future. And we've got only 5 more spaces for people to join in for regular training in our dojo. Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.